Good afternoon. Welcome back to the B&H event space. You are tuned into the Quest for Wedding Film Mastery Part 9. The ultimate artifact. We are creating the ultimate artifact. That sounds like forever.
I
Like,
think it
That's what we're
is.
trying to do, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to. And whenever we take our ego out of the equation, we realize that it is something that's supposed to last forever for the family and their, future generations. So it is up to us to future-proof it for them in the best ways that we can. So
Right.
that's what we're talking about today.
there you go. Way to lay the groundwork, Amber. I'm
Yeah.
going to turn it over to you guys. See, you guys clearly know what you're talking about way more than I do. Huge thank you to Sony, as always, for supporting what we do here at the event space, especially this wonderful series that I hope you guys have been tuning into. And if you haven't, don't worry. We got the links. We'll drop those in there into the live YouTube chat so that you can catch up. And if you do have any questions, well, you return the favor. Drop your questions in the YouTube chat, and I'll make sure that the wonderful Amber and Garrett have a chance to answer them. Amber, Garrett, take it away. I'll see you guys in a bit for the Q&A.
Thank you so much,
Thanks a million,
Derek.
Derek.
We really appreciate it. And thanks again to B&H and Sony for hosting this for us. We really appreciate it. It is, I see this every time, but has been our dream for a very long time to bring wedding filmmaking content in a long form like this for free for everyone to watch, which is amazing because, there's a lot of content like this under paywalls, but we get into the nitty-gritty of a lot of different things, or have gotten into and will continue to for a couple more eps. So you want to riff a little bit while I get this party started over here?
Sure.
Talking about that that final product. Garrett, how many times do you watch a final film before you send it to the client? And where do you watch it?
I have never kept track, and I probably shouldn't because I watch it over and over and over. It's never done. Normally, Amber has to come say, Garrett, first of all, she like butters me up. It's like, Garrett, your brilliance is visible. I can see how amazing you are, but it's good at no, she does say that sometimes, but I was just kind of kidding. But she comes in like, hey, Garrett, this gotta get the door. We gotta deliver this. And I'm like, well, there's just one speck, this one pixel I want to change. Literally, sometimes it's like
You're at
that.
the point of diminishing returns
Right.
here.
Yep.
So I think there was a quote, and it's not in this, but a film is never done. Like, whether it be a 2-minute Instagram film, there's always going to be find something. You are always going to find something that you can change or make better. Or, well, hopefully, if you are striving for perfection, which unfortunately that is one of Garrett's flaws. Would
It's
you say
just,
that a flaw? But it's
I
also like a good
It's a
thing. It's like
yeah,
it's a
it's a
good
strength, but it can really get in the way of getting your job done sometimes.
yeah. So like that whole done is better than perfect. We have to remember that. But a lot of the times, like with movie productions, they say it's done when the budget's done, right?
Mhm.
And so your time is your budget. Your time is your budget, is your money. So
And even with a massive budget like Disney has, on the not the Mandalorian, but what was the one after that? Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, what was that budget? And if you, I won't go down this rabbit hole, but if you watch the series, especially the first few episodes, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that made it into the film that shouldn't have been there. And there's some pretty, I don't want to ruin it for you, but once you see these mistakes, you can't unsee them. So even on a massive budget with hundreds, if not thousands of people working on it, it's never done. You got to get it out the door.
all right, so we are creating the ultimate artifact. Again, we are your sages through this journey. Thank you for attending.
Would you say the immortal artifact?
Well, I suppose so. I really liked this, and I will I will tell you that ChatGPT helped me with this. But I was just I was just talking to ChatGPT about cinema.
Just as one does, just
I do that. Anyway, cinema is an art that defies time. preserving moments, stories, and emotions for generations to come. And that just blew my mind. I was like, that is what I want to do.
Now, is that a quote from somebody, or
No,
that's a
me
quote from
and
ChatGPT?
ChatGPT came. No, it wasn't just her. It was
Okay.
me and her. So
Wait, her?
I call her Jessica. Don't, I'm not even lying.
That's cool. That's cool. What?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you derail me.
I'm sorry.
Okay, my favorite thing right now is whenever I see one of our former clients post a picture on stories or something of them and their children watching one of their films like 15 or 13 or 10 years later. And I always love to ask them, what did your kids think? Because it's always something funny. It's always like, why does daddy not have a bear? Why wasn't I there?
Daddy was a lot skinnier.
I'm like, why does grandma look weird? You know, because she's 10 years younger. Like, I've heard all of these things. Why wasn't I there? I want to go to that party, you know,
Why
so
am I not know the picture?
you were.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, that's something that I think, again, when we put our ego aside and really think about what we do and why we do it, this is why. We're preserving these moments, we're preserving this slice of life. It is this little slice of this pie of their life that is just, we get to experience it with them, all the joys that come with it. I mean, we've always said, like, you can't go to a wedding in a bad mood, you
Right,
know,
yeah.
and hopefully, like, when you're watching our films, you leave smiling. Like, that's one of our
our
goals,
goals,
is
yeah.
always to leave our film with a huge smile on your face, like smiling while watching it. Like, I love it when I catch myself watching one of our films and just like, oh, I've been smiling the entire time, you know, so that's what we want to do.
And real quick on that same note, you think about the things you want to include, like including the little kids and stuff. You're like, well, the aunts and uncles, everybody knows that they're there. Well, they do now, but once you digitize this and put it on the interwebs, and they download it, whatever, there are going to be generations of people who don't know anybody in the video. Like, for me, for instance, my parents have pictures of my grandparents who I've never met, and their kids that, I've never met them, but all I have is this one picture. And imagine if I had a video
Oh.
of all that. That's exactly what we're doing. We're preserving this in the best way we can to make sure that generations to come that never met any of these people can pop it in and, or I don't know, whatever, upload it to their brain.
Whatever's going to be in the future, I know.
I think
Upload it to their brain. That's exactly what's going to
It's
happen.
going to be like 10K video pills. You just eat
So-
one and then it pops up.
You're not gonna just like insert, who knows, man, who knows? But I mean, we have in our filmmaking career started, we were delivering
Standard definition.
standard
DVDs.
definition DVDs. So that is how far we have personally come in 20 years of our career. I'm so excited for the future. That has always been I mean, it's going to be like, I would assume like augmented reality maybe, or
Yeah.
virtual reality at some point. Like, wouldn't that be cool?
Apple
So-
actually is doing that when you can record something with their glasses and then go back into the same room later
There we
and
go.
watch it again. It's
There we
nuts.
go.
So
Okay.
who knows where it's going?
Why does this matter? Well, let's see here. So we are talking about this too. So we were talking about it earlier. Garrett watches the film a million times. We get to the point of diminishing returns. Here we go. So we are ensuring final output meets our high quality standards. Because we have started this, we are trying to keep a consistent high quality standard from the minute they first see our ad on social media
Mhm.
to the minute we talk to them for the last time, hopefully not even last time, because I talked to a lot of our former couples on social media still to this day, but that's why we're doing this. And then it's going to be easy to share, and that is part of the financial portion of our job. We want everybody to see our work.
Right.
That's the ego part, but that's also the why we do this. Not only is it creatively fulfilling, hopefully, it's monetary. Like, we have to make a living, you know.
Right.
And then we want to make something that's going to stand the test of time. So we're going to make sure that we are doing our part to make sure we're using the latest, greatest tech at the current time so that whenever it comes to transfer it to the next piece of technology, it's going to be at the most quality we can have at this moment in time.
Right.
So like we have been filming in 4K
Mhm.
for long before we even delivered in 4K, but we're doing that to help.
We've actually started migrating a little bit. The camera we're using right now is the Sony A1, and it shoots 8K, and I'll use that as a a lockdown shot for the ceremony. But as time progresses, I mean, 8K is just going to become more and more prevalent. It's going to be easier and easier to get a hold of, and more platforms are going to support it, and that's going to be the next gen. And maybe you can upgrade it. I mean, upscale it, whatever. But right now, yeah, we record at the highest bit rate that we possibly can on our cameras, so that our starting product, our the core of our video is as clean and as pixel perfect as we can possibly make it. So if it's 4K, it's 4K. We're shooting at the highest bit rate to make sure we get that quality. So when we, I mean, yes, you're still going to compress it later, but if you start at a higher quality, the more information you have to compress, the better off you're going to be. If you start with like blocking, really low bit rate, and it's going to end up looking worse. So yeah, start at the highest possible quality your camera can produce.
Yeah, and I know that it's not, I mean, we also preach it's not about your gear, but if your gear is the best quality, like we have kind of always, because of Garrett's affinity for technology, have kind of chased the bleeding edge of technology. But, and you don't have to, but that has allowed our products to continue to be pristine in the later years, I
Right.
guess you would say, later years.
And one of the things that people have talked to me about in some of our classes, like, well, if I'm delivering in 1080, why shouldn't I just shoot in 1080? I could save a lot more, memory cards, and the 1080 is great on most of these cameras, most of all of our
Do
Sony
we still
cameras.
do that?
But my response is, I like to record at 8K, even I'm sorry, 4K, the highest I can, even if I know I'm delivering 1080, because you're given the option to, photographers, they're shooting on 60 megapixel cameras. You can crop and rotate and change things. And if you shoot at 1080 and you're delivering in 1080, yes, you can still crop a little bit, but it's going to get a little soft. So if I'm starting out in 4K or even 8K, I can crop if I want to, maybe adjust the angle a little bit, have some more freedom to manipulate the image more than I would shooting at 1080.
All right, so we're gonna talk about creating the artifact now. I just always love this picture of you.
That's a keeper.
Uh,
I'm like, woo! I knew that. Okay, that face is me going, oh, this is amazing. This shot's gonna be great. I knew it.
so we've talked about building and all of these things, but when we're creating this final product, we want to make sure that we have your narrative flow and your emotional arc all intact. So a lot of the times that means stepping away from the project.
For real. Yeah.
Step away from the project or get other eyes on the project. So like step away, go, and then like I will come and then we'll watch it together and discuss and
Absolutely. And it's, I don't know how many times it's happened where I think I'm done, and I'm more than done. I've done so much to it, and then I miss just a blaring, like, Amber will come in and she'll say, "Hey, yeah, one of the moms didn't make it into the teaser." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's a big, yeah, we definitely have to fix that." Or or I'll blink at the wrong time and miss something, and she'll see it, and she's like, "Hey, that needs to be like, maybe it's a camera movement or a jitter or something, or a flicker. Maybe when I stabilized it got warped." But having somebody else, a second set of eyes, come in, even if it's a colleague on Facebook, you can make a private video on Vimeo or whatever and send it to them. It's like, hey, if somebody you trust, hey, colleague, check this out. What do you think? You got any notes that maybe some things I need missed or something? So that might be helpful as well if you have a friend in the industry.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. I would like to, can you keep that down there so I can also see
What
the
will I do
paper?
with my hands?
I don't know. Do you want an ink pen?
That'll work.
Okay, just don't click it.
Okay. I cannot hold an ink pen and not click it, so that
Okay,
works.
well, I have some lip balm. How
That'll
about
work.
that? Okay.
I might use it though.
That's fine. Your lips will be juicy and red. I just need to be able to kind of see it as well. Thank you, my
Understood.
darling.
You're welcome.
Where were we? Okay, so we're making sure that your structure, pacing, and emotional, all of the things are in place. So that's done. Now we can move to the next part. Your picture lock is what they call it. Your color, sound is all good to go now. So you've obsessed over all of that. And honestly, one thing that Garrett loves to say, and is so true, is that the more he learns, the longer it takes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I guess I should stop learning.
But I mean, it's not that it's a bad thing, but you just also have to balance it with the amount of time and your budget, time budget, your money budget, all of that stuff. And then you want to make sure you get all those finishing touches polished up. Any
Consistency and color grading from one scene to the next. If one scene is balanced correctly, the next scene is in the same room but maybe a tint of orange. It People may not pick up on that, but if it's too strong of a difference, then people will. So again, second set of eyes, because color grading, one of the best things you can do is when you think you're done or having problems, you get up and walk away for half an hour, go get lunch or something, then come back, and you'll see it differently. I don't know why it works like that, but I
it's
can
like
sit.
resetting your brain.
I think so. Like you go outside, get some actual
I think that's
sunlight,
more-
some
yeah.
vitamin D in your body, and maybe a snack, and then come back, and I'm like, what was I thinking? I look at videos from 10 years ago. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Well, you know, we
It
all
looks, it
get.
looks like an Instagram filter.
I mean, we all have gotten. I mean, okay, let's be honest. We all have done selective coloring in our life.
You don't want to admit it, but yes.
Okay, so we've all gone through those things where we've overworked the color, overworked the sharpness, overworked the audio, you overwork it. And so that's where it's like trying to balance out when is it good to just like it's good enough. But so we have in the past uh been judges on
She's-
panels.
he said
Juries. We're on the jury. No, I think that's what
we were
it
the
is.
judges. We weren't even the
Judges.
Yeah, at WPPBI.
Yeah. So filmmaking competition. So we've been on the is it the jury? On the panel.
The judging panel.
On the judging panel.
Kind of like The Voice or whatever.
The-
Like, you know, we had chairs that would spin around, and I wish that'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, and we were also we both chaired a year. And so anyway, one thing that we did notice a lot was the inconsistency in color grading throughout. Those are things that you just need to make sure that you keep an eye on. So the things that you want to look for that don't belong or are unintentional is more what I like to say. Unintentional camera movements, unintentional color shifting, unintentional things that you are just like anything that's going to pull you out of the film.
Like
So-
seeing other filmmakers, if it can't be helped, then it can't be helped. If you can fix it in post, try to fix it. If you can shoot around, like almost everybody expects to see photographers because they're very ninja-like and they're all over the place and they're running around. They don't have a lot of like video gear to carry, so you're gonna see them. But if I can help it, I don't want to show them. But I really don't want to show our tripods and our microphones and lights. I want to really keep that out because that's like when you're watching a movie and you start seeing tripods on the set and you start seeing lights, like that's like what's going on. That's weird. That's not real. So we'd like to try to keep all of those out of their final product.
Even photographers. So that's why we talk about creative obstruction in the podcast we did about the shoot day, because those are the types of tools that can help you get around that and
Right.
not have get it in camera and
Yep.
not have to do it in post, which is what we like to hear. All right, so we got the finishing touches, and then we have the existential dread.
Is that right before you hit the upload button?
Yeah.
Post.
Yeah, the post, the upload, the email, the send, the you go through all the emotions of, am I a failure as an artist?
There's always that
Are they gonna like me?
silence, like when you upload it and you send it to them, and there's just this silence, and you're just like sitting there on the edge of your seat, and you're biting your teeth, or just, you're using your teeth to bite your nails. I'm doing the same thing you were.
I know.
You're biting your nails, just wondering, like, will they like it? Will they like it? Which, I mean, they will. They're gonna love it. It's a cinematic masterpiece about them. Of course, they're gonna love it, but how much are they gonna love it? They're gonna share it. It's gonna go viral. So,
Are you gonna make money off of it? Seriously.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to, okay, so that's talking about creating it. Okay, so then we have export settings and stuff like that. So resolution and formats, again, we're talking about pushing the limits of what your gear can do, making sure that you're we kind of got ahead a little bit, but making sure you're capturing the best quality in the moment so that you can preserve it for the future and things like that. You know, you need to make sure you research platform specific requirements. Where are you going to be hosting this? What type of upload settings do you need?
And all of those places will have like a tech spec page, like here is what we want from you.
The reason why I didn't put that in here is because it changes.
Right.
And this is December of 2024. It may be different next month. So I didn't put any of those specifics on here. Each place will have their own specific ones that you just need to look up and have it, maybe have a quick, quick handy like note on your computer where you have all of the export settings. Or can you create presets for export settings?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What they don't want is they don't want ProRes 422 or 444 uploaded, because they're gonna, at least right now, like if you upload the uncompressed video, they're gonna chew it up. So if you can get it close to or exactly what they want, they're not gonna run it through their ringer compressor as much, and it's not gonna have to go through so much. I call it downgrading, because it just takes your.
So, okay, so as this is not part of our job, so these are questions maybe somebody else will have. So if you have finished the film and you're like, okay, this is the end and it's that 422, which is like a huge file, and you try to upload that to like Vimeo or YouTube or whatever, it compresses it on its own to make it the size that they want it.
Right. Yeah.
And so then they're using their software and their computers, which are working very hard on everybody else's stuff too. So it's not dedicated. So what you're saying is when you do it yourself, you're gonna get a higher quality.
Right. It's gonna post quicker. And yeah, it just really depends on what they need. I haven't even uploaded a ProRes file to them, because I don't even know if they'll even take it. But
Yeah.
but even if you just upload like an MP4 or something, if you do the max bit rate, that still is going to be a huge file. And I use Apple compressor to do all that, and there's all kinds of presets, so I can even go to like, hey, this is for social media in 1080, and I'll upload it in 1080, or for 4K, whatever it is, the going thing at the time, so that it has the best chance of being seen. And it'll take a little longer just to run it through that compression, and you can do your own research and adjust. You can add a little bit of extra sharpening when it does get compressed. Colors do change. We're going down a whole different line, but not.
Well, this
by
is
much.
one of the things that I wanted to talk about is balancing quality
Right.
and file size. So go ahead.
With YouTube, it's really probably the easiest, because you can upload. I usually do the full 4K, and I used their recommended settings. Excuse me. And so when somebody has it on their phone, when they hit play, it's not going to automatically usually start playing in 4K. It's going to start at like probably not 360, but maybe 720, and then as it starts playing the first little bit, it'll buffer and be quicker and quicker, and then you can turn it up to 4K. But I think YouTube right now, for me at least, is the best streaming service for our content. Excuse me.
Garrett had a cold this week, and so he's at the tail end of this.
Yep,
Apologies.
I'm on the other side of it, but it's still
Yeah.
a little tickly.
I wonder how your voice sounds through this mic.
I bet it sounds good and deep.
Oh, that is not supposed to be there.
Not quite James Earl Jones, but
Not quite. So whenever we talk about physical and digital delivery, these are the things that, you don't have to think about as much, but a lot of people still like physical delivery. And to be honest, there's something really magical about receiving a package
yeah.
of your thing done. And we've always really put a lot of time and effort into doing that as well, in our career. And I think that part of that is why we've done so well. We created back in the day when we did standard definition DVDs and Blu-rays. We got these beautiful like trifold leather DVD cases. We put their picture on them. We would we would get printable DVDs and Blu-rays and print them and cuss and fuss with the printer and cuss and fuss with the can you believe these old
I know.
school days? I can't even like we would have to test the Blu-rays or DVDs to
And
make sure
I
they
would
work.
I would watch it all the way through because
That's
that's
glitch.
exactly when you. I'm sorry, excuse me.
That's okay. Do you want some water?
I have a drink here, but thank you.
Okay.
But like even after I get the finished film and it's in 422 and it's maybe 80 gigabytes or something crazy like that. I watch that to make sure it's good before I send it to the compressor. After I send it to the compressor, before I upload it, I watch it again to make sure it compressed fine. Sometimes, I mean, 1 out of 1,000 times it will. I mean, hardly ever, but I just don't want to take that chance.
And you've always done that.
Yep.
Like you watch it through every step of the way, through each compression, through each writing,
A little
rewriting.
obsessive compulsive, I think, going on there, but yeah, I don't want any weird glitches to be seen.
It has happened.
Yeah, people are paying for a quality product, and I don't want them to say, "Oh, there's a big red screen that says media offline." I don't want that to happen. I guess I should say.
Again,
Uh,
yeah.
But and then after I upload it, let's say to YouTube, I'll make the link private, and then I'll let it sit and cook and go through all the different resolutions. And I usually just turn on the highest one, and then just watch it all the way through again. And of course, usually these are less than 10-minute films. They're almost always, between 4, 6, 8 minutes, something like
We
that.
used to do the same thing when they were hour-long films, though.
Yeah, when we did
Like full ceremonies and stuff. We would sit on our couch
even
and
now,
watch.
if they buy
Yeah.
the full ceremony,
We watch it.
after I edit it, I'll sit and watch the whole thing, and it's
We would make it a thing though. We would like when we had a done DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, even film now, we would we would sit down on our couch and watch the whole thing just to make sure everything was fine. After we know our clients. We would know them by the end of that.
the funnest part was that it's all fine, and then right at the the last 10 seconds of the film, I misaligned a clip or something, and there's a big cut or jump cut. I'm like, no, which means I gotta, especially when we would author Blu-rays. That I never. Luckily,
a
we haven't sold
nightmare.
one in a long time. I'm a purist. I think the 4K Blu-rays are better than any online streaming service. Period, in my opinion. And so all my favorite movies I buy on 4K Blu-rays. But anymore, we haven't sold a Blu-ray.
Nobody wants them or needs them
No.
or whatever. And that's where like the magic has kind of like changed a little bit. So you have to keep up with that, right? So it was easy for us to do these things whenever we had physical media.
We
But
had to
you
come up with a new way to create custom packaging.
Exactly. But you also can do USB drives for like archiving and things like that. So we have used the service called Photo Flash Drive before to get all of our custom packaging. But yeah, so they'll do custom USB. We would do these big, like beautiful boxes that have our logo on it. The USB drive had our logo on it. Oh no, the box had their name on it. The box had the couple's
embossed
name on
name
it.
on it, yeah.
Yeah. And so like, and then when we would ship them in the package, we would have like beautiful tissue paper. So this was part of my job, right?
Yep.
We would also put popcorn
Craft time.
and we would put popcorn in it and movie theater candy. And if they had like, I would even put dog treats in it if I knew they had dogs. So these are the types of things that your clients see and makes them feel special.
Personal touch.
It's
yeah.
the personal touches. And so all of those custom packaging things kind of like we have to try a little bit different. And so now with digital, there are the several different ways to package your digital images or your digital works now. So did you want to talk about those?
Yeah, so going back to the custom packaging,
Oh yeah.
with digital, like I wanted to create an experience that isn't like, okay, here's your Vimeo link, here's your YouTube link, and then they click on it and then they sit and watch it, and if they don't have a premium account with YouTube, there might be an advertisement that has nothing to do with wedding videos, or it might cut in the middle of it, and there might be another advertisement. So what I like to do is I create a custom package, a digital custom package for my client Right now we're using Vimeo. And what I like to do is I'll make a custom, like a splash landing page for their wedding film. So it'll be
Hold on one moment. I have Michelle and Els pulled up on Show It's.
okay.
You want me
Okay.
to pull that up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Well, so these are the types of, we haven't really gone through, but you're getting a little bit ahead there.
Right.
Yeah, so the different ways that you can, hold on a second, let me see where we are. Okay, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to go through these first and then we'll go to their website?
Right. So the online galleries is what I started to mention. We like for our corporate clients, we'll have when we do several videos for them, we'll have a very professional looking. Well, it's our website and it's our logo, so it's and when they're watching the films we made for them, they're staring at our brand. So that's hopefully getting embossed into their brain,
Okay.
our brand.
So you should be able to see our website now. So we use Show It as our website hosting and building and all of that
It's
stuff.
we've tried several. We tried switching to what was it?
The Squarespace.
Yeah, I think it was Squarespace.
Popular one.
Because we just got inundated with ads. Like, well, let's try it. It looks easy. It's they're having a sale. I
Oh, it was when
personally,
we were starting at Hearts and Hounds.
yeah, starting.
Yeah, we
the
were starting
photography
in a
business.
photography business.
And we tried it, and it was just too much for us. We
You said
because
us,
we've
you mean?
you well you
Oh, we both did.
and then you griped about it so much. I'm like, well, let me like
Move.
and let me try it. I'm like, oh, I don't care for this so much, because we've been using Show It for many years.
Probably like 15 years.
Show It is I mean the other ones are good too, but for me, when I have to change something, she has to change something or make a new website. Show It, it's like showitfast.com or something like that.
Mhm.
They're not a sponsor, but we really do enjoy
Do
using
you
their
want to be a
product.
sponsor?
Yeah, yeah, you want to be? I could really use a free website or two or three. But anyways, it's called WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So it's drop and drag.
It's
It's
similar to
it's
Squarespace and
similar,
stuff.
but there's more flexibility in what you can do, I think.
I found it to be as I put a lot of energy into trying to build I found it is a lot more customizable. Like it is easier for me to change things. It's
Show It.
easier, yeah, Show It is much easier for me to build something that looks polished and I don't know. I just found like the limitations of Squarespace. What wasn't what I was looking for.
And it might be limitations of our knowledge because
That is also
neither one of
very
us know
true.
HTML. We don't know anything about building
Yeah.
websites.
I watched a lot of tutorial. I watched basically every tutorial on Squarespace's website though.
Yeah.
And I was frustrated and then I probably had a couple meltdowns and then we're like, screw it. We just switched that over to,
Yep.
and then I literally made that website in an afternoon.
Yep.
Heartsandhounds.com. No,
So-
heartsandhoundsphoto.com. I should know that.
So this would be their landing page
Yes.
when we send them their final film because I want them to have an experience. I don't want them to have a YouTube experience.
So if
I
you
don't want
see-
any ads. I don't want any promos. Sorry, but there's several police going by.
Santa came through on the back of a fire truck the other day, though,
Oh,
and that was really cute.
that
But
was
this
cool.
is something else. Okay, so with Show It, though, you can have custom sites. And so what we always do is we name it the couple's name. So like Michelle or eyenamics.com/Michelle and Al, or eyenamics.com/Bowen Engineering, which is one of our commercial clients, or eyenamics.com/Garrette Amber, whatever their name is. So it makes them feel special. And then we usually will have like some kind of design element on the back of it. Did you want to pull up a different person's?
No, this is fine.
Yeah.
One thing you want however you deliver it digitally, you want it to be easy to share. So this one looks like I have just one share for Facebook. Sometimes I'll have like a link that they can copy and paste into like Facebook or other social media platforms so that other people can see it and have the same experience as they do. Eventually it does end up being a YouTube link or a Vimeo link on somebody's Facebook page, but
We're trying to control the initial experience.
right.
And so like one thing about this one that's different is that they had a graphic designer that designed like their invitation suite and stuff. And so they had this custom logo for their wedding that we got from the designer. We're like, I mean, we know her, we work with her many times. And so we're like, hey, can we get that for their website? And she was like, absolutely, please. Because she also knows they paid her for her work and she wants her work to be shown. And so, you know, it ties their whole wedding together and it gives it like this cohesiveness, you know. So like the photographer may have put that on their wedding album, and so now their whole wedding has this cohesiveness that just looks so beautiful.
Amber,
So
I'm sorry to interrupt. We can't see the website that you're sharing. We just see your
Oh.
PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
thank you so much for the heads up. So
Of course.
okay, we're gonna go back to where
So we zoom. It's probably because that was full screen, maybe.
hmm.
Do 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 do.
I'm gonna stop share and then go back.
Okay.
I think I know what I did.
Oh, while she's doing that,
Yep,
one
I
thing I like
did.
about the Show It site is it makes a desktop version and a mobile, so a desktop slash iPad version, and then also a mobile version. So if they have their phone, it recognizes it and it has something that's totally.
I think you can see it now. So we're gonna go through this really quick. So up at the top here, you can see the eyenamics.com/Michelle and now. Apologies for that. I chose the wrong click whenever I shared my screen. I chose
Oh,
just
okay.
to share the keynote and not the desktop.
That's
Apologies.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so where are we? Oh yeah. All right. So then you'll see our big logo at the top. And then when you scroll down, and this is just like, this is embedded from
Vimeo.
Vimeo. So this is an embed from Vimeo. And then we'll have like their teaser. And then when you scroll down, you'll see here what Garrett showed you is that share, or we talked about
We
it.
talked about it, yeah.
But
I was trying to show it to him. Yeah, so it just makes it really easy to big button that says share.
you gotta love live. That's what it's all
Yep,
about.
yeah. And then also if they so typically our most popular package is we give you like a 4 to 6 minute highlight, or maybe what we say 5 to 6 minute highlight. I think is what we tell them. 5 to 6 minute highlight. It's always longer, but they get more than what they paid for, so they love it.
Sometimes, yeah.
Almost all the time. It's never. I don't think it's hardly ever below 5 minutes. But if they also added on the full ceremony, I might make this the teaser, the big video right here, and then I may have a couple links down here. The same thing, but smaller.
I can find one. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, you could go ahead and talk.
So
Keep talking.
that if they purchase the full length ceremony, it's there for friends, family, grandma, grandpa, whoever wasn't there, couldn't make it, they can watch it. And then below that, typically if they bought the full ceremony, more than likely they're going to buy the full dock style toast at the reception, and so I'll have that one there as well. And
So they're basically seeing, this is my show at dashboard, but you can see like I have all of these like let's see here. Where's one
the
that
two
has-
screens there,
one's for mobile.
one's for mobile, and then one shows you what it's going to look like on the desktop.
Let me see
But-
one that has several. See, like there's Michelle and Al's feature.
But yeah, I think we get the gist.
Yeah, I was trying to find one. Oh, here we go. There we go.
So that would be the desktop version.
So then, some you can put things in the background. So like a lot of the times we'll put, you know, something from their wedding in the background of it. So then here's their 10-minute film is at the top. And then their ceremony, Catholic ceremony, hour and 13 minutes. And then their toasts. So they received their toast as well. That was 22 minutes. And so again, we watched every minute of that. Like every minute of it, we watch it to make sure that there's no, because they're going to.
Mhm.
And so if they see something that pulls them out of it, they're like, you know,
Yeah, it just takes you out of the moment.
yeah, it takes the wind out of your sails
Mhm.
or whatever you want to call it. Takes the wind out of your sails.
And you can use YouTube In fact, YouTube actually streams better than Vimeo. If Vimeo sometimes stutters but Vimeo has a better quality from what I've seen. But YouTube definitely is an easier stream. But again, if we put Vimeo, I'm sorry, if we put the YouTube link in there instead of the Vimeo, and they don't have a paid account, maybe they're going to be, seeing a Burger King advertisement before they start watching their film, and it just ruins the whole vibe. So that's why I choose to use something that doesn't advertise or like, Vimeo.
Yeah. This was the bride. That's Michelle. This was a fun little
You got Christmas hair there.
selfie. That was a fun teal moment I had right when my hair was growing out. Another fun fact, my hair grew out real curly whenever it first came back from but this was in the bride's bathroom. We were having a good time. So and then we're gonna talk about some lawn.
This is why we have notes.
There we go. So we're going to talk about long-term storage options and things like that. So, we've talked about briefly in the 3-2-1 backup. I mean, if you don't know what that is, then I highly suggest that you research storage solutions and backing up your projects.
Because hard drives
Always.
always fail. They will fail eventually, no matter if they're SSDs or all memory will fail. Period. It will eventually. But if you have it up on, Vimeo, go ahead and throw a copy on YouTube, because YouTube is bigger than, I mean, it is Google, but it's like the
The second biggest search engine, or
if
whatever.
not the biggest search engine. I'm not
Yeah.
sure
Do you
if
think
it's
it
at
is
least
now?
it's at least the first or second largest search engine. So you're going to get traction there. SEO. Also, I didn't mention, speaking of SEO, you didn't see it on the pages she showed you, but it's good to at the bottom to have like a little thing that says, like, bold letters, the team, and put name and
Oh,
links to
yeah.
all of the people who worked on the wedding, because that will not only show love to the people you work with, and that's how we get business, but it'll also help your SEO, because if you do that and then those other people do that, and you're all in the wedding business and you're linking back and forth to each other, Google, again, I'm not an SEO expert, but just from a little bit of research I've done, Google's ears perk up and they're like, oh, they're all talking, so they're all legit, and you'll get higher in the ranking.
Yeah, great point, because
Same applies Instagram too, Twitter, all that.
oh my, I will say there I've seen some photographers that won't credit the other people that they worked with.
Weird.
And yeah, weird, right? Very weird. Like, there was one photographer that wouldn't even let the planner like post the wedding like highlights without payment. And I'm gonna say this about that.
That's weird.
Yeah, and we know her pretty
Yeah.
well. We worked with her quite a bit.
Tell me off camera.
And it's like, we couldn't do what we do without every single one of those people.
Right.
So we got to show the love all over the place. And they won't ever be able to do what we do and get what we can get. And so we just photographed a family session for our neighbors, because we're getting ready to move. And the mom, Kim,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw this comment, but she was like, it looks like a commercial.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what we do. Like,
Yeah.
it better look like a commercial, because that's what we do.
Can we say maybe it looks like a shot from a movie, a cinema?
Yeah,
Commercials could be
cinematic.
pretty cheesy sometimes.
Well,
but no, it's like people my dad's age, when they see some of us, sometimes they'll see a photograph I captured and edited. They'll be like, well, that looks like it should belong in a magazine
or a calendar.
or a cat. Yeah, I was like, okay, great.
I mean,
that's a high compliment coming from, because at
100%.
one point in the last 100 years, a calendar or a magazine was like the best image quality you could possibly get, and that's still
100%.
stuck in their mind. So that was a huge compliment. So I
100%.
appreciate those.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking about redundancy and storage. But one of the things that we do have to talk about is, like, we are not archiving anything for our clients. We're going to tell them that specifically.
Right.
Like, don't like we have had people come to us and say, I don't have my copy. And we was like, okay, yes, but we're not guaranteeing storage long term for
Right.
them. We've done over 600 weddings. There's no possible way.
Please don't tell our clients this, but I think I have every wedding still archived from the last at least 15 years. I have stacks and stacks of portable hard drives that I don't know why I don't
But
need
they may
them. I'm a
not.
digital hoarder.
But they may not boot up. Like that's the thing too. They might, but they
Right.
may not. So we will never tell our clients that we're going to store or keep anything long term. Now you might, and that's just again digital hoarder over here, like stacks and stacks of hard drives all over laying around.
Yep.
That's you know what? That's the burden we must bear. We don't have all the raw footage. We just have the final
Oh,
products.
no, I have all the raw footage.
From
back
how
there.
long?
The last 15 years. I really do. I promise you, because I was looking for something the other day and I went and I got into the archives and and I went through 6 before I found what I was looking for, and they all worked. And they were some from
Wow.
long, but I don't tell my customers
no,
this.
no.
But I just I'm a softie and maybe a hopeless romantic sometimes. So I just have a hard time hitting the delete and empty trash on somebody's, marriage, wedding vows. And like, you never know when somebody, and this has absolutely happened, just bought the teaser. And then like on their first anniversary or something, they'll be like, my parents are wondering if we get the whole ceremony. And so you like, yes, you absolutely can for X number of dollars and you make a little extra. Now you can't depend on that, but that just having that backup, we've had people call us before and say, "Hey, we lost it somehow." I think this was before. Oh, I know what it was. Before we did a lot of digital stuff and uploading to the internet, we had those Blu-rays, right? And the kids got a hold of the Blu-ray or something.
Before the internet.
Yeah, well, it wasn't before the internet, but it was before you could like do
I know though, I know.
we were pushing Blu-rays and DVDs, but their kids got a hold of the DVD and scratched it all to hell. And so they're like, "Hey, do you still have it?" I'm like, "I do have it," and there's going to be an unarchiving fee because I mean it's work. I mean I have to go look for it, get it. I have to make a disc. I have to at that time I had to make a disc. I had to print it, put it in packaging, and send it to them. But if that even now if they did it today, I would still charge them an archiving fee because I have to go to work. I have to go to my desk, sit down, and I have to work for a while to get that to you. So I think I should be compensated for my time that I spent getting your problem taken care of. So that's something else to keep in mind. We have our hard copies here on hard drives, and then I always, even the final render, if I have room for it, I will render it out in full ProRes and then save that final render along with the raw footage in case I need to render it out again for something. I'm overly cautious when it comes to this stuff because this is some, you want to make sure people have their precious memories. And it's just like,
And
I
I
can't
will
have the heart
like
to delete it.
to bring the room down tiny bit. We have had a woman who reached out, a bride reached out to us, and her husband passed away from cancer, and after just what 3 or 4 years after their wedding, and she asked for the raw footage, and we still had it, and
Yep.
we don't ever promise. And there have been times where we just would delete raw footage pretty much immediately, like from our working hard drives, and so it does take some time to maybe find it, but we had it for her, and I'm so happy we did because there's things that never made the highlight or the final film that her kids now get to see and
Yep.
watch their father on that day, which is really special and
That
important.
was a Chicago wedding, right?
Yes, it was Peachy and Carlo. Yep, I even remember their names. I remember also that their son like followed behind her, running down the aisle. And
Yes.
he had like a Superman toy like in his hand.
Yep, and he was running after her train.
It was such a beautiful shot. So, and you've done 600 weddings, but that one,
have some that stick out, really do.
that one thing, and I remember it was the ceremony, the reception was so gorgeous downtown Chicago. So, all
But
right.
definitely whatever they paid for. So if teaser, full ceremony, full toast, you send that. Okay, we all have these weddings where we have like, oh my God, this is gonna make my demo reel. This is the most beautiful wedding. There's just celebrities here, whatever. Then you have the weddings are like, Well, I mean, they paid me to be here, but this is definitely not going on my website. And you know what I'm talking about, whether it be maybe the decorations weren't as pretty, or maybe there just wasn't a lot of chemistry between the couple. We've had that as well. So
Or the
those,
family were just like, they honestly, we've had weddings where the family just looked like they were not having a good time.
yeah,
And if they're just all sitting around like that and there's no emotion, we're just like,
it's a rough one to try to put it. Yeah. So you obviously don't want to show, you want to show what you want to sell. So I'm not going to put those weddings on my website or even online for everybody to see. But what I will do is I will take advantage of Google a little bit and say, here's, 3 hours of wedding final cuts that have maybe, well, let's say 2 hours of things that are done, like the highlights done, the reception's done. It's all done. I'll upload that to my YouTube account for our weddings, and then just make it private. So if I ever need it, if they lose their copy, if I'm on Vimeo, but let's say they make me mad and I turn my account off. Well, if I turn my account off right now, I'm gonna get a lot of phone calls from people. Maybe not all on the same day, but every time their anniversary rolls around, they want to watch their film and they're relying on my Vimeo link to go watch it. Um, if I get mad at Vimeo and say delete my account, please, then there's a lot of people that are going to be calling me. It's like, hey, where can I view my video? And at that point, you can say, hey, direct them to the YouTube page, or just maybe redo your link on their personal page that you made for them. So you have it on your hard drives. That's one copy. You have it on your YouTube account. It's a second copy. And then eventually, if you
but they have a copy too. But you're not relying on them.
right, and then they also, I also give them a download link. That's
Oh
not
yeah,
something
the
else you can
download
do.
link.
I used to use. It depends on I'm in the mood, what I'm doing. Sometimes I use Dropbox. Sometimes I use Vimeo has like a send file link. I think that's on their premium account or something. But I also have a Dropbox account, so I'll throw it in Dropbox and say, here, this is a link for you to download a copy to your devices, and that link will be up for 30 days. Normally, it's just
Never
it never goes
stops.
away, but at least they know I'm only responsible for keeping it up for 30 days. And then we
You have to give deadlines,
right.
or else they'll be like, "Well, you didn't tell me."
Right. And then if my Dropbox is full and I need to delete some videos, that's how that goes. And then also we like to try to sell them we call it the USB archival copy. So we get a really, really nice, it looks like a crystal. It's so pretty. But it's a really high-end looking USB drive, comes in a nice box, like what she was talking about earlier. And we sell it to them like, hey, this is an archive copy. This is something that's small. The box is small. If you have a safe at home, you can put it in your fire safe. So if it ever gets deleted online, if for some reason, we license all of our music, but sometimes Vimeo and YouTube, they don't want to get sued. So maybe I've had videos I've had it for 10 years, and I'll get a YouTube takedown notice that, hey, you're taking my video down. I licensed a song and it was fine 10 years ago, and so then I got to reprove to them that I actually own the rights to the song. So you can sell that, like that kind of a sales pitch to them, and make a little extra money giving them that archive copy, that they can have a physical copy that they can put in their safe someplace, that they can keep it and not have to worry about the internet's deleting the account or something.
Right. So really, this final step is about creating your raving fan base. The people who are going to refer you, are going to talk to you, talk about you for the rest, hopefully the rest of your career.
Right.
So we still have a woman who follows us very closely on Facebook, and we filmed her son's wedding in Las Vegas like 10 years ago, and they're not even married anymore, and she still follows us very closely. So it's like you creating that raving fan base. So first things, you're of course wanting to ask for reviews. Sometimes it's hard because as artists, we're worried, we're nervous about what they're going to say. Sometimes it does feel like no news is good news. So when there have been times when we didn't hear from somebody and they were like, hey, what did you think? And then they just tore us apart. Well, you didn't say this, you didn't show this, you didn't show this. And we're like, okay. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but we come up with something. But anyway, so it's hard to ask for reviews, but it's helpful in the long run.
It's not hard to ask, it's just scary to ask.
Scary is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is. It's a fear-based decision.
But you built a good fan base when the bride comes back to you for her second wedding,
She sure
you
did.
know she loves you.
She sure did. We've had and I love that woman too.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Her first husband. I remember on the wedding day, the planner was like, "He is a groomzilla," and I'm like,
Yeah, I remember that.
"He is." And then she got married to a really fantastic dude later, a
Okay,
couple years ago.
side
Anyway,
quest.
anniversary check-ins is always great. Sending cards, reposting teasers. People love to get mail that's not bills. How often do you get card that's not bill or mail that's not bills?
Mhm.
Probably not very often. So if you get an anniversary in the anniversary card in the mail from your filmmaker or your wedding professional, like that's pretty special. We have sent holiday cards in the past. I would get posts on I would get posts on social media that would like people thanking me for sending them cards, because I would take the time. I mean, and this is when we had 50 clients in a year. And I would send every client from that year, every client from the year before. The year before that, I would send to my favorites. So,
Well,
so,
also,
and then also to other vendors,
yeah,
like sending holiday cards to other
so they know you care
vendors. Yes.
because they're your work family basically. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I would send them to every vendor we worked with in that year, the year previous, and the ones that I liked the year before. So I wasn't like, and then like even the ones I liked from previous years before that, because we are still getting Christmas holiday cards from um
Oh,
couples.
we just got we got one today. Was our very first same day edit we've
Yeah.
ever done.
Yeah.
And we've done several since, and we've never had one better than hers because it was a surprise. We just wanted to know if we could do it.
Yeah.
So we did it for free as a surprise to her. We had no idea, she had no idea, and when it blew everybody's mind,
So good.
and it was
And
so
so
good.
we
But
still
we
get,
got a card from her this year
I
even.
think there was 10 years ago, maybe 11
Yeah.
years ago, and they have 2 children, it's beautiful. And so I had sent them holiday cards in the past. I've gotten really bad at it, but do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So, sending cards like that is really special. It like really makes people feel good.
A little
And
bit of
so,
extra effort goes a long way.
yes, and so just we took a class on sales from one of our mentors, as you may know her, Monica Sigmund. She's very popular
She's
on this
amazing.
page, on the B&H event space. But she's like, think about how you like service and do that for your clients. How do you like to feel when you are spending money on something?
Right.
You like to be valued and appreciated and you like to feel like your money is going somewhere, like that it is important.
Mhm.
This is a very important thing that we're doing.
Yep.
It's preserving a slice of life for these families. So
If I may, what you said about the reposting teasers, that's a great tip. With that, the reason why it's so great is we have a lot of our clients that will repost their, like, every anniversary, they'll repost the teaser, but a lot of them don't. So if you find that, like, some of your ones weddings that you really like, you did some of your best work, and you repost those on their anniversary and then tag them in it, that makes it really easy for them to repost it, because without, like, if they're on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and they know that link you sent them for their homepage with all their videos on it is somewhere in an email, and they start to think about going and looking for it, like, forget it, I don't want to do that. But if it comes up on their Facebook that you tagged them in a post, and they're like, oh, there it is, one button, share, and it's done.
mhm.
That will make it easier. It will set yourself up for more success.
Yeah. So these are all things that we have done and currently still do in all of our relationships, whether it be wedding or commercial or even our dog portrait business that we started. All of these things are ways that you can just really elevate your business to take it to the next level, to continue to get the clients that you want to get. That's what it's all about, right? Like getting
Yeah.
the clients that getting the clients that um share your similar vibe and your similar attitude, and that's whenever the magic can really happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to, like, set yourself up for success and show your best, show what you want to sell. So if and that's why quality control is so important, because if you put that on Facebook and let's say for some reason one of them goes 50,000 views, let's say. You're like, oh wow, that's crazy. But then you're watching it again, like I do so many times, and then you find the blip where maybe the screen goes black for a second, where your two video clips didn't quite meet up, and there's maybe nobody else notices. But if you have little mistakes like that, that means the people that are watching it are gonna, if they catch those mistakes, they're gonna be like, well, it's a really nice video, but it's not polished, you know, it's not, there's some error that they miss, so they're probably not super professional. So by doing this massive amount of quality control, your final product that you're creating, your eternal artifact, is just primo and ready to go, and it's gonna hopefully just go crazy and bring you more business in.
Yep. Yep. I think this is our last one for the year. And
Oh, yeah.
so we want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. Hey, Derek, welcome back. I don't know, I don't have any questions. Do you have any questions? I didn't see any questions.
Yeah, I don't see any questions. Look, sometimes we just have a nice, clean
Yeah.
last episode of the year where people enjoy, and
Apologies
Run us
about the tech problem, you know.
no worries, no
Things happen.
worries.
It's, you know,
This
but
it's the technological age. If you're not with it already, you got to get with it.
yeah. And so sometimes we just push the wrong button. It's fine.
We didn't push the wrong button. No, in her defense, it showed us on the screen what we were looking at, and so we just thought everybody else could see it too, but apparently not.
No
Somebody needs to
worries.
get me a reference monitor next time.
And that's why we have these great
Somebody needs to
techs.
get me a reference monitor next time.
Okay.
No, but
Build
it
out
really
the
is.
studio.
Thank you so much to B&H, all of
Yes, thank
the
you.
staff and the support staff behind the scenes. We appreciate you all so much. It's just a smooth sailing, and we love it so much. Thank you all. We appreciate B&H and Sony for you know, giving
Hey.
us this hour every so often to hang
Derek,
out.
can you check real quick while I got you on here and see if they've shipped out my A9 or my A1 Mark II yet?
Let me see.
Do you have access to my account? You can just kind of make that, have a rush order for me real quick.
So you ordered 6, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, absolutely.
Stocking stuffers.
Yes, all our family. No.
Yeah, everybody wants to be on Garrett's list after that. I'll get like the little gummy cameras.
Yes. Gummy
You never seen like
camera.
the little candy, and it's like they have shapes of everything, but they have
Okay,
you
I've seen
see
gummy
little
bears, obviously, but I've never.
yeah, they're like you remember the little gummy cheeseburgers? It's like the
Mhm.
same
Yes.
consistency as those, where you're not sure if after
Is it-
20 minutes of chewing it's like, is this really a candy or not?
Did I just eat plastic?
It's not
Yeah.
edible. Yeah.
It's like candy
It's-
corn. Without the flavoring, you're just eating plastic. It's what it feels like.
Sugar. Yeah.
But it's so good every time.
It
I'm team candy corn. So
Yeah.
You- Garrett's like, sorry. I feel
Oh, I
bad
mean,
for you.
in the corn family, I'm gonna have to go on the side of caramel corn. That's my
Okay.
favorite.
Okay.
That's my favorite sugar corn, I guess. But
Well, and you know what? The best caramel corn is Garrett's. Is it?
That is
That's-
Garrett's is the.
Chicago.
There you go. See,
Chicago
Chicago.
brand.
Yeah, Chicago. This is my mother's favorite city. So there was never a trip when she went to Chicago didn't come back with some Garrett's.
oh, how I wish I
fantastic.
was related, but I'm not.
I'll tell her next time.
Okay.
You're like you're on the way, so
Oh,
she can
so
maybe
close.
just take
Yep. We're
make a
heading that
stop.
way.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Amber Garrett, it's been a great series thus far. Is it one more part?
One more.
part.
Last one.
One more part. So we've made it thus far. You guys got one more to complete the series, viewers. Hopefully you guys have been tuning in live. This is the best time to get your questions answered, is tuning in live. But evergreen content lives on the internet forever. So if you guys are not tuning in live and you're watching us on the replay, we still love you. But huge thank you to Amber and Garrett for what they've been doing here for our channel. And of course, Sony, as we started the program with, supporting what we do. So all of our viewers out there, one more part of this. Hope you caught up on the rest. But that is all we have for right now. Another edition of the B&H Event Space in the books. Catch y'all next time.